DIYer behind LemonThistle.com. Today I am excited to be joining you to share not only one but two DIY projects. The first project is this little bee pennant here. It has floral design in the bee. This is made using foil iron-on. And the second project that I'm making is this little plant pot here. It says grow with the same floral letters that this pennant has here. And this one is made with the matte adhesive foil from Cricut. For these projects, I will be using my Cricut Maker to cut the materials. I designed all these floral letters for the spring Fresh Cut SVG bundle. So if you want to get in on that bundle, it's available for 6 weeks, and I'll put the link down in the comments below. And we also have a playlist, so if you want more ideas of things that you can do with designs from this bundle, this video is in that playlist. Before we get started, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do that so you don't miss out on any more DIY videos. Alright, so the first thing that you'll need to do is upload your design into your cutting machine software. For Cricut, that's called Design Space. To upload a new SVG image, just click Upload, select your project. Once you've uploaded it, size it to your project. So I measured my pennant and I sized it accordingly, and then hit Go. Once it is on the map, you can move it around. I moved it around to account for a bit of a cutout on the piece of foil that I was using. Make sure that you hit Mirror Image if you're using iron-on material. You'll see with the Cricut software here, you can actually just select the exact material that you're using, and it will set all the pressure and the blade type for you, so you don't have to do any of that custom. So foil iron-on is one of the materials listed in here, and so is the adhesive matte foil that I'll be using for the other project. Now it's time to cut your designs, load up your machine, and hit Go. When you're cutting any type of iron-on material, you'll want to have the front, so the shiny side if it's foil, facing down on the mat. If you're cutting any kind of adhesive vinyl, like adhesive matte foil, then you'll want to have the finished side, or the shiny side in this case, matte, I guess, facing up for the cut. When it's all done, it's time to get weeding. I always like to start and weed the outside of my design and then go and do the details. When you're weeding the outside of the design, I find it's best just to cut away pieces as I go to keep the excess from sticking and pulling up pieces that I don't want to be weeded off. When you're weeding the matte foil, you'll find that it's quite a bit thicker than vinyl. This makes it a bit more challenging to weed, I found. I found that it kind of stuck together a little bit more and it wouldn't stretch and tear as easily. I started out by using my regular weeding tool, which comes in the basic tool pack, and I found that the design was so intricate. This is cut at the very minimum cut size. I wanted to see how small that I could go. I found that it was too intricate to use with just this weeding tool, so I went and got out my weeding specific set that I actually hadn't opened yet. I haven't ever had a need to weed anything so intricate before. I tested out the tools that came in there and I found that the straight weeder was my favorite. I tried the tweezers that came with it, but I found with how thick the foil was, the matte foil, that I actually switched to eyebrow tweezers that I had. I found that those were stronger, they gripped better. I got really frustrated with the ones that came with the weeding tools, so that's something that I probably wouldn't invest in again. I would just use the tweezers that I already have. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this took a long time weeding something this intricate. I have cut so much out, and even the parts that I'm showing is at like 500% speed. Next is time for transfer tape. If you've never used vinyl before, the adhesive foil works the same way. You weed out your design and then you use the transfer tape to pick it up off the backing and put it down like a sticker, and then that transfer tape comes off as the vinyl or the adhesive foil sticks to the surface. So the transfer tape that I'm using is just the regular one by Cricut. It comes clear with a grid on it, so that's really great if you want to line something up straight. I am not usually that detail oriented, so I kind of just slap it on there and ignore the grid. When applying it to the surface, this is a rounded surface, and so as much as I tried to do it all in one go, I found that it made the next letters kind of crooked. So if I were to do this again, I would cut all the letters individually and apply them one by one. Once you have them all applied, smooth them down really good with your fingers before you peel back the clear transfer tape. That's all there is to it. I love the almost three-dimensional look that the adhesive foil has. You can see how much thicker it is than vinyl right there, and you can see that it almost stands out just like metal that's been pressed onto the surface. Alright, time for the second DIY. The process of weeding heat transfer vinyl is pretty much the same as the adhesive vinyl. I actually prefer to weed the heat transfer vinyl because pieces that you're peeling away aren't sticky and don't get stuck to each other. the backing that you're peeling it off of is actually the sticky part. This one was also a lot nicer to weed out because it was larger, even though there was still tons of tiny little pieces to weed out. Because the design itself was larger, they weren't so teeny tiny. Plus, I found the material nicer to work with. If you're having issues seeing the little pieces and the cutouts, you can use a light pad such as a Cricut bright pad or something like that just to shine the light through to see where you've cut. Again, this one has lots of really intricate weeding, so you might want to hold it up to the light to make sure that you didn't miss any little tiny pieces. Once it's all weeded, you can flip it over and see your design. You can see how shiny that foil is there. Grab your material. Now this is just a flour sack tea towel that I've cut down to size with a rotary cutter. And with that, I'm not going to bother hemming the edges. You could, but I mean, if you're not going to be handling it, it really doesn't matter. It's not going to fray that much. Before you iron it on, make sure to iron your surface to heat it up and then use your iron to transfer the design. I use my Cricut Easy Press. I really love that you can set the temperature and the time, and it's a largest surface area, so there's not as much guesswork when it comes to ironing the material on. For the foil iron-on, the recommended settings are 295 degrees for 35 seconds. I found that this worked really well for me. You iron it on the one side, then you flip it over and you iron the reverse of the material as well. Then let it cool before peeling back. For hanging, I used a piece of dowel that I cut down to size, and I used iron hemming tape. So you just heat it up and you iron it together, and then I slid the dowel through that. It's a really simple way to finish it off, and I find that it's sturdy enough just to hang on a wall like that. I tied some ribbon on to hang it, and you're all done. If you did want to hem around the edges and really clean up the edges so you don't have any raw cuts of the material showing, I would use hemming tape for that as well. I'll put a link to a video where I show how I do that. That is it. Then all you need to do is hang it up. So there are your 2 DIYs. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this DIY. Make sure you check out all the other videos in the playlist to give you lots of ideas of what you can do with the designs from the bundle. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos.